Hi, I'm Ian Whittaker, and in this video I'm going to explain how you can receive parcels and letters from abroad into Panama. And it doesn't matter if you want to import your Amazon purchase, Amazon Pharmacy, Walmart, Etsy, packages and letters from family and friends. The way that you're accustomed to doing such things, if you're from the UK, from a European country, from Canada, the United States, is different to how it's done here. So first of all, I'll just outline the problem, then we'll get to the solution. I'm going to break down what the options are, the cheapest ways, the fastest ways, and my experience. I'm just going to say at this point, I'm totally independent on this subject. There is a company I use. I recommend them simply because I use them. And like all my videos, there's no financial or friendship or business connection between me, my channel, and anyone I mention unless I explicitly say so. The problem is, in Panama, if you use a typical method that you're accustomed to, like for example, you get your family to send you something by FEDEX, DHL, UPS. I tried that because I believed I could, and I didn't want to accept what I was told until I tried out what seemed to be a common sense method to me. So when I tried that, I got a parcel sent to me from abroad. I used DHL. Nothing happened. I looked at the tracking. No one contacted me or anything. I had to contact them. Eventually, I got through to the office somewhere in Panama, and then it was days and days of messing about. They gave me a third party, or I don't know who it was, one or two other people to talk to via WhatsApp. Then eventually we got round to the problem that I needed to contact a government agency to approve the food products, even though it wasn't anything like live fruit or anything. It was like chocolate, protein powder, sweets, crisps, things like that. And I had to then send images of the packaging, which fortunately I could get off the internet, because how am I going to get images of the packaging of what's inside the parcel? Then get the approval from them for that, and then pay a fee to customs import tax. DHL did nothing really for me, even though I paid what I would consider a premium to use their service over alternatives. It turned out into quite a prolonged, work-heavy task. You weren't really sure what was happening. I kind of had the feeling I was being sort of pushed towards someone who was hoping to make a quick buck out of, trying to be a fixer for me. I obviously didn't let that get out of hand, but certainly wasn't one person at DHL managing it for me. Eventually, it ended up being delivered not by DHL but by a contractor in Panama, and that also was labour intensive, dealing with them, telling them where we were and everything, even though they had the information. That's my story, that's my test of the system. From that point onwards, I've always used one of these companies which I'm going to tell you about, which are very common in Panama, and they have an office in Miami. So these companies, when you register with them here in Panama, they will give you an address and a phone number. In my experience, they give you a phone number as well, that you can put then in your Amazon account or give to whoever's sending you something. That package will then arrive at their Miami location. When it does, you'll get a notification. And then when it's shipped to Panama, that's either by air freight or by boat. Normally it's by air, so it takes about a week. By boat, it's going to take double or triple that. Depending on which company you're using, you can choose between those two methods. And when it arrives in Panama at their office that you've selected as your collection location, or it's going to be delivered to you from there, you should get another notification by email. So that's really how it works. I'll go into that a bit deeper. But first of all, just to outline that in Panama, nobody has a standard address like you would have in many other countries. So there's no zip codes, no postal codes, no standard address. So a typical way you would write your address if someone asks for it, be it the government, the water company or whoever. You would say, it's the house at the side of mini supermarket Anna on such and such a road in such and such an area and a certain part of Panama. So Panama Oeste, Eastern Panama, or Panama City. So you're just doing the best you can to describe where it is. And that's how locations are fixed in Panama. The only other way it's done is by a pin on Google Maps in WhatsApp. WhatsApp is used by almost everyone in Panama. Everyone expects you to have it. I must say that I avoid WhatsApp because I like the freedom and peace and other benefits it gives me not having it. And that's something I highly value. So it is possible to live in Panama without WhatsApp. But it's more challenging, possibly. It depends how you do things. So to send things to Panama, we've ruled out using couriers like DHL, FEDEX and so on. It's painful, it's time consuming and it's stressful and it's not fast because although you might use an express service, once it arrives here, the bureaucracy starts. So it's on paper, in theory, it's really fast. You know, you could have next day delivery. You know, it doesn't matter because once it gets here, it's going to start going through this system. So that's ruled out. The second option is the National Postal Service of the country from which the letter or package is arriving. So US Postal Service, Royal Mail in Great Britain and Northern Ireland. These services do deliver to Panama, but what happens is when it arrives here, you're going to get a delay of maybe a month or two, and you're going to have to go and pick it up at the post office. So yeah, there's no such thing as a mail person going up and down the streets every day delivering letters and packets to everyone. That just doesn't exist. There's no post boxes around. You will get a post office in each city, in each town, with a post box there, but you just don't find them in general. So it's quite a different setup here. The third option is the easy option. It's the one that everybody uses because otherwise you're really fighting against the current. So the third option are these logistics services. The package gets sent to Miami. You use Miami as your address. And it's very important that you use the exact to the letter address that they give you because that's got the references for the office in Panama it's going to be delivered to, and obviously that it links to you. The logistics service will also ask you to provide them with the tracking number, and that really makes it easier for them to match each package to you. But it's not necessary, it just helps to coordinate everything and helps you to monitor everything better if you can give them a tracking number. Now once that package arrives in Miami, say you'll get a notification, then it comes to you and you can either opt for collection in one of their offices or that it's delivered to you. The first step really in going through that process is look at which of these logistics companies have an office that's near to you, that's convenient to you. I must admit that I go quite far out of my way to keep using the same company that I've always used because they've never let me down, and I don't like experimenting. You know, I would always send a package through a sort of a test package first if I was trying a new company, as I did with this company, because you know you really have to be able to trust them, I think, and especially if you're sending things like I've sent an iPhone through, you know, things which are valuable, things which are not so valuable. I've sent trainers, sneakers. A friend of mine sent an antique collectible coin through to himself. You know, you do want to be sure about the company, so search what's close to you and don't take a recommendation off one person. I think that's a huge no-no that expats tend to do. A huge mistake. You know, they go online and they go in a group, and they ask if anyone can recommend a business or something, and you don't know why that person is recommending that business. You don't know what connection they have. The recommendation of one person about a business, maybe even two, is not something to take as something very significant. What you really want is to be able to look at reviews on Google, on the Facebook page, and Trustpilot if it is on there. And if there's only 2 reviews, maybe look somewhere else. If there's 30, 40, 200 reviews, you can probably trust what's being said and make a good guesstimate as to what the company's like. I've seen a lot of people get into a lot of trouble, both in my own country and in other countries, by getting a recommendation of someone. It just doesn't work. It's as much of a risk as just picking a company yourself. So let's talk a bit about the costs. To send something through like an iPhone, I got an iPhone sent through from Apple. That was about $5 to $6 for me. That's the total cost including taxes. So I bought these trainers off Amazon, size 10, come in a shoebox, standard shoebox. That cost me $12.50. And you can pay online or you can go to the office and pay when you collect by card or by cash. The lowest price I've paid personally was $2.50, and that was for a protector case for my phone. Services that I use always arrive within about a week, so I'm using the fastest service that they do. I could probably compromise and pay a bit less to get a slower service, but it's not really much of a difference for me at those kind of weights. Now, if you are sending heavier items through, you can choose the more economic services like shipping by boat. But there is another option as well, and there is a service called Send It, and there are other similar services that allow you to send packages to their address, and then when they're there, you can instruct them to get rid of excess packaging. You can instruct them to pack several different parcels into one parcel, which might save you weight. You can instruct them to get rid of paperwork and invoices, any kind of flyers and anything you don't want, because when things arrive there, they'll send you a photo of the package and you can ask them to open it and send photos of what's in there. Then you can tell them what to do with it. So it's very, very useful if you've got a more complicated situation or a situation where you know you're going to have a lot of excess packaging. So you really have to do the maths and see if it's worth doing that. But that is one option. And like I say, the other option is just sending by boat, just to get that extra bit of economy. So what companies to use? If you just search something like Miami, Panama, Logísticas, Logistics, Enviar, Envío, those kind of words, things will pop up in Google and then you can see if they're close to you. The other thing I would recommend, obviously, once you've checked Google and any reviews there and on Facebook, is that you look at the prices. It's also worth knowing that mailboxes, etc., are quite big here. They have lots of locations which do provide the same kind of service. They even have a facility if you don't want to use your own cards online. You can go into their offices and they can help you with a purchase, so it's not even on your card. So they're worth exploring as well. Again, check the reviews. So thanks for tuning in. If you've got any comments, experiences to share, or any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll be glad to respond to you. And don't forget, please subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more that we can show you about Panama.